If you've ever felt overwhelmed, burnt out, or taken advantage of, then the chances are that you probably need stronger boundaries in your life. But don't worry, because by the end of this video, you'll have practical tips on how to set and stick to them. So what actually are boundaries? So boundaries are invisible lines that help protect your mental, physical, and emotional space. They help define what is okay and not okay for you. It may seem like this is something that creates walls against people, but actually it helps you in creating respectful relationships. For example, you could not be interested in going out to dinner with friends after work. You just don't feel like it. So this is a boundary. You're saying no, you're busy after work. You have something else that you need to attend to that you promised yourself you would do. And so therefore that's a boundary. You're saying no. Or it could be simply saying no against disrespectful behavior. So why do we need boundaries? So actually everyone does have boundaries, but sometimes we don't feel like we're actually able to vocalize them. But we do all have boundaries. We all have things that we're okay with people doing and not doing. There may be a reason though why we become lax or unable to actually vocalize these boundaries and assert the boundaries. And this could be because we're in a new place. For example, maybe we're in a new workplace. It could be because we just simply don't want to rock the boat and we're with new people, which is quite often the case. And therefore, asserting your boundaries might feel like you're coming off as being rude, dominant, or bossy. What you need to remember though is that having boundaries is important and completely natural, and it's actually on the other person if they have a problem with you having reasonable and respectful boundaries. Here are some signs that you need to assert your boundaries. Number one is that you always say yes when you actually mean no. Number two is that you're a constant people pleaser. Number three is that you always feel like you're being taken advantage of. And number four is that you feel overwhelmed and drained. Okay, so now that we know what boundaries are, why they're so important, and signs that you really need to assert them, how do we actually do that? So number one is that communication is key. You have to tell people about your boundaries because otherwise they're simply not going to know. And also, you don't want to come off as being rude because often we do get kind of being assertive with our boundaries and making our stance known. We get that a bit conflated with being rude and a bit aggressive in setting our boundaries, and you really don't want to cross that. For example, maybe one of your friends is constantly texting you. Instead of just texting them back and saying, hey, look, stop talking to me, I'm really busy right now, that's rude. You don't want to do that. That's going to cause a rift in your friendship, and it's just not a very nice thing to say. So instead, I would say this face to face if you can, or a quick call. I would generally say, I really appreciate that you're reaching out to me right now, and I appreciate our friendship. However, I'm really swamped with a few things at the minute, so I won't be able to communicate as much right now. That sounds really formal, but you kind of get the gist of what I mean. Basically, just kind of appreciate their friendship, appreciate the fact that this person wants to be in your life, that they care about you, that they're there for you, but also tell them at the same time that there are things that are happening in your life right now, and you just need to prioritize that at the minute, but you do respect and love your friendship. And so that allows you to set that boundary, but it also cares for your actual friend and your friendship. The next thing that you need to do is to practice saying no. And saying no when you're not used to it is really hard because, again, you feel rude. But just being honest really helps. Again, if you don't want to go to drinks with people, then just be honest. Just say no. And give a reason usually. You know, you don't want it to be like straight up blunt no, because that's gonna come off, yeah, as being a little bit rude. You don't have to be blunt and rude with it. Simply saying no thank you, I'll pass on the drinks, I'm just quite tired, will suffice. The next thing that you need to do is to expect discomfort and pushback. Not everyone is going to be respectful of your boundaries. In fact, a lot of people won't. They may get angry even by it. They may try to change your mind and they might cause conflict, but the best thing to do here is to stay strong in your commitment to your boundary and to yourself. This is also quite a good thing in a way, because if this person is a friend, your partner, even a family member, and they're acting this way towards you when you're simply setting a reasonable and respectful boundary, then that is a sign that this person is probably not right for you and your life. The fourth thing that you really need to do is stay consistent. And as we just looked at, being consistent is being respectful to yourself and the fact that you have put up a boundary for a reason, and you need to prioritize that and therefore prioritize yourself. Sure, you can set a boundary and then tweak it maybe, but what is not a good thing is setting a boundary, communicating that to other people, and then suddenly the next day changing it, because that makes you just look a bit flaky and like you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want. You made it for a reason. Respect yourself and see it through. And the fifth and final thing that you need to do is to remember the benefits. Remember the reasons why you actually set this in the first place. And you need to remember these benefits because quite often setting boundaries does feel quite negative, it feels a bit restrictive, it feels harsh, but there is a reason why you're doing this, and it's going to make you feel better in the long run and overall, because we need to remember that actually setting boundaries is self-care. Self-care makes us better and therefore makes us be a better person to others around us. With setting boundaries, you are prioritizing your mental health. You are gaining clarity. You are getting rid of unnecessary noise and just stuff that shouldn't be there, and just allowing yourself to live your life how you want to without other distractions and other things coming into play. And therefore, after setting your boundaries, your initial feelings of being overwhelmed or drained should ease. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it's been helpful for you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!